Well, hello everybody. And we'll just see who comes in this morning. I don't know. I thought today I would talk about teas and herbal teas. And while I'm waiting for people to come in, I'm going to show you a little video. Hi Jake, how are ya? I hope you guys are having a good morning. And I understand that the storm missed you guys, so I was happy about that. You probably got rain, but not any of the dangerous stuff, so I'm glad about that. But while we're waiting for people to come in, I am going to actually show you some of the things what my cupboards look like. And hi, Valerie. Hi, Shelly. Yvonne, how are you? Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, morning, morning. And I'm going to run a little clip. Oh, and Jake says that they didn't even have rain. I was worried about them in Texas that they might get the storm, but he says they didn't even get the rain. So that is awesome. I hope everybody is staying safe. Hi, Mary. How are ya? I hope you're having a good day too. Let me run this clip. It's going to take about a minute and a half. It's going to show you some of my herb cupboards, and Joe always says, "You're kind of like a witch doctor." No. He's just teasing me though, because I have so many herbs. So let me add that to the screen. And this is my main cupboard right here. And it's just jam-packed with stuff. And that's a little cheat sheet. If there are certain things, teas I want to make, it gives me some ideas and proportions. I get a lot of teas from Mountain Rose Herbs, bulk herbs, and then the rest of them I just grow and then I dry them. And Jake, you're right. Potions and poisons. Well, I don't know if I have any poisons in there, but certainly things that you can make a lot of potions. Now, this is a get well tea that a friend of mine, she does herbs too, and she had given that to me. This is a tea that I have every morning, and we'll talk about that in a little bit and all the different things that I have in it. And then we're going to go over to, I used to make a brain buster tea, and it just enhanced your brain. And then I found it at bulk herb store that had almost the same things as I was using. So easy and convenient. This is my version of Essiac tea, and we'll talk about that too. And I seriously love them. I love teas. I love the whole ideas of teas. Oh, Chad is here. Now, Chad and his wife and his family live off-grid. I mean, seriously off-grid. And some of the things, the poor guy's been trying to get water from a well over and over again. So I'm just so excited that you're on, or maybe it's your wife on. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell, But he is really a great growing channel. And him and all those girls and his wife, they are really pioneers. And so check him out if you haven't been over to his channel before. I think you won't be disappointed. He's just like exploding in growth. And every video, 17,000, 50,000, 100 and some thousand views. He's doing a great job. And you just go, Chad. Oh, it's Chad. He says it's me. Are you all ready for winter, Chad? He's up in Michigan, same as Mary is there. And Homesteading Northern Michigan, Jason is up there. A lot of great channels in Michigan. So exciting. Oh, and Jake says, don't forget his goats. He does. He has goats. But one of the things I really found interesting about his channel is the greenhouse that they're making and all the things he's doing and building the fence around the garden and all this stuff. And the girls are working. It's really a great channel. And there's a lot of great channels already in here. Healthy Homestead Chick, Shelly is in here. And Shelly and Doug have just been great friends of ours. And I always say, in fact, both of us always say, we wish we were neighbors. Check her channel out. Check out Jake's channel, Nunya, Texas, on the back 20. And his wife is Little Frenchie in Big Texas. They have 2 channels. Oh, well, look at here. Todd is here. Todd Joe's not here. He's golfing because he seems to think that he needs to golf a whole bunch right now. And I'm not really sure why, because we're going to Arizona pretty soon and he'll be golfing all winter long. So I have to tell you this morning, north of town, it was only 31 degrees and they had pretty hard frost. We just had this really light frost this morning. But right now it's only 52 degrees and I think it's only supposed to be in the 70s today. So the windows were open and it was a little chilly in our house this morning. But I think tomorrow it switches again and we're in the 90s. But really, no snow is predicted at all the way through the end of the month. So that is awesome. Last year we had, I think, 8 inches or 10 inches in September. So that's life. But we're talking about herbs today, teas today. And I love my teas. I mean, seriously love it. Like this is I call it Sandi's morning tea. And I have this, well, not every morning, but lots of mornings. And it's really made for women. It really gives a lot of stuff that just, I think it helps improve your moods. It helps really give you a start in the day, a little boost. And it's all natural. It has peppermint, raspberry, lemon balm, blackberry, stevia leaves for sweetening, licorice root. And the reason why I actually add licorice root to every single tea I have, my reasoning is that in Chinese medicine, licorice root is added to a lot of things because it enhances everything of those other herbs. And so that's why I put it in there. It's got elderberry, rose hips, hibiscus flowers, cloves, and cinnamon sticks. But it's a great morning tea, and I really like it. And I have a tea ball. You can use a lot of different strainers, things like that, and it just is perfect. Well, look at all these people coming in. How are you? And Angie's here. Are you not working today, Angie? Or are you goofing around and on your phone and you're at work? But I've given this tea to so many people. I've sold it. Now, my friend, Jody, she really likes herbs and she is a wealth of knowledge. And one day she just gave me this, and this is called Get Well Tea. And it just has herbs to help you. And one of the things that it has in it is calendula. And I grow calendula. Now you can buy them. The 2 places I like to buy things for my teas are Bulk Herb Store, and it's bulkherbstore.com. And actually, Baker Seeds owns that now. They were friends with the people that had it, and they were going to close their business, and then they weren't, and then they were, and then they weren't, and then Baker Seeds bought them. And so, bulkherbstore.com. Oh, look who's here. Ann is here. How are ya? I hope you are having a great day, girl. So if I can grow flowers or herbs in our climate in Wyoming, I'm going to. And calendula is one of those things that I can grow. And they can spread like wildfire. So you have to know that if you're not cutting those seeds heads off, you are going to have calendulas everywhere. And the place that I got them first was in the community garden. Marilyn, how are ya? And you will notice, though Nightbot is on here, he kept giving everybody a bad time if they had different things. Too many exclamation points, too many emojis, too many symbols. And I disabled all kinds of stuff. So we can't do that anymore. Now, I used to make a brain tea, and I used to take it quite often, but it has some things that are really strong in there. And if I take that too often, I can really not feel good. It's just too powerful. But at bulk herb store, they actually sell one. But my suggestion, if you were going to use this kind of tea, is to use it very sparingly. I think it does help brain-wise, but it is a very powerful tea. And that brings me to the subject of teas that you're making or somebody gives you. And just be careful. Take small amounts of the tea first. Make sure you know what you're allergic to. I need to expand my garden next year to include herbs, specifically herbs that I can make healthy teas. I think that is just a fabulous idea. I think it is so important that we can do our own teas. I'm going to put a banner across the bottom because this is a video I thought that was exceptionally interesting. And I think that it talks about the most southern tea farm in the world. It's in Australia, Tasmania. And it has almost the same weather, summer and winter, as Nepal, where they grow a lot of teas, in other places over there by the Alps that they grow a lot of teas. And the video's about 10 minutes long. It talks about how they started, what they do, how they cut the leaves. It's really interesting. And I think if you just Google or on YouTube say most southern tea farm in the world, it'll probably pop up. It's a newer video. I think it's been on a week and a half, something like that. But it is exceptionally interesting. And they make different kinds of teas, but they talk about, because it's the same plant, getting green tea, black tea, or oolong tea. And that's interesting because a lot of times I drink oolong tea because I like it. I find it real interesting. Now I switched banners, and if you can't find that video, just send me an email and I'll copy and paste the link and send it to you. Oh, Doug is here. Doug is my brother on YouTube. Seriously, my younger brother, because he is younger than me. How are you, Doug? I saw Shelly in earlier, so that is so nice that both of you are in there. And Marilyn says, love the haircut. I have to tell you, it wasn't what I wanted. And I just figured it'll grow. But what I have found, if I don't put a little bit of curl in there, it's very choppy. After you wash it a couple times, how then your hair really lays the way it's supposed to lay. And, Oh, Doug, what is Shelly cooking today? You'll have to let us know. That's right. His Way Homestead. That's my brother, Doug. Now, sometimes when I'm making teas, I don't want anything spectacular. I don't want to mix a bunch of stuff. So what can you do to just have a nice tea? Like if I need a really relaxing tea, I just put peppermint leaves and steep them in the water. Now, usually when I steep my teas, it's usually for about 10 minutes. If it has a lot of different types of plants in it, sometimes it's 15 minutes. But I think if you do it less than that, you don't really get a lot of that flavor and the benefits of the tea. So I always try to do it at least 10 minutes. And I just set the timer when it dings. So I'll put my tea ball or my strainer in the cup, and then I cover the cup. In fact, see, having a cup of tea. I won this cup from Adriana at Farmstead Smith. It is a great cup. And Angie, it's a well-balanced cup. Angie and I have these discussions because if you're going to buy me a coffee cup, I want it well-balanced. And Shelly from Healthy Homestead Chick, she sent me one that I wish we were neighbor cups, perfectly well-balanced. I use it all the time. I love it. And Doug says that Shelly's baking sourdough bread and cooking breakfast. She's a good wife. You better keep her forever and ever. That is for sure. But simple teas. A peppermint tea is really a nice tea. Now, if you don't grow peppermint, you can purchase peppermint leaves, crushed or not crushed, online. bulkherbstore.com, Mountain Rose Herbs, two of my favorites. Because there are things that I cannot grow in Wyoming. Our season isn't long enough, or it's a perennial and it won't last our winters. And so some things I have to buy. Some things I can grow, and then you have an overabundance of it. But maybe you don't like peppermint. What about raspberry tea? Now, raspberry tea is a very good tea for women. I once read a story. Now, I don't know if this is true or not true, but I read it in an herb book that this old lady she was like an herbalist. People came to her from miles around. And whenever there was a woman that couldn't have a baby, she would make them drink raspberry tea every single day. And according to the book, it never failed. I don't know. That's just what she said. But it is a good woman's tea, and that's why I have that in my morning tea, because it's really good for you. Now, you can make simple things that aren't even dried herbs into a tea. Like if I have a sore throat, it's hot water, lemons, and honey. And that's the only thing in there that I drink, and you just sip it in. It just really helps your throat. So that is always easy, simple things that you can do. Now, one of the things that I like to grow in my yard is chamomile. And there's a couple different chamomiles. One's a German chamomile, one's a regular one. And then there's a false chamomile, which actually grows wild here in Wyoming. And it looks like chamomile. It smells like chamomile, but it's not actually chamomile. But I use that in the teas too. If, say, one summer you have a failure in your chamomile, it grows wild, I can find it. And I actually have grown some of the false chamomile in my yards too, because it's really hardy. And so I like that. But tell me what you guys is your favorite kind of tea. And we have somebody new. Hello, the Wolf That Could. That's a fun name for a channel. Welcome. And so in the box, tell me what kind of teas, and if you grow the items that go in your tea, or maybe you just grow some of it. Maybe you grow raspberries and you harvest the leaves. You grow peppermint and you harvest the leaves. Lemon balm. There's a lot of different things that you can use for herbs. Now, while you guys are going to chat, howdy, how are you? Adventures on the Homestead. I like their logo, their little icon. People are very creative. Now, I'm going to play my cabinets again because I played it at the very beginning and there wasn't very many people in, and it's only a minute and some, and so I'm going to play that. And this will kind of tell you my idea of herbs. Oop, at the stream. There it goes. So these are just my cupboards. They are just like jam packed because different times I need different things. And that's my get well tea. That's my morning tea right there that I'm showing. I think I've had that jar. Well, not the same ingredients. The same ingredients, but not, I've gone through the jar over and over and over again for years and years. I wash it out and I change, put new stuff in there. But look at all those herbs. It's craziness is what it is. Now, let me scroll back up. And Judy's asking, what's a good nighttime tea? Well, for me, a good nighttime tea is chamomile. It really just relaxes you, makes it easy to sleep. Another thing that you can do, I don't know if you have access to anybody that grows hops, because you can dry the hops, put them in a little pillow-like thing, a little cloth material, and put it in your pillowcase. And it will help you sleep too. Mary says that her favorite tea is raspberry. I love raspberry tea. And if you grow your own raspberries, it's so easy to harvest them. Yvonne says chai tea and cinnamon tea is my favorite. I grow mint and brew it. And I have a lot of different mints that I grow. Spearmint, peppermint, apple. I'm growing some orange mint. And they all have a unique little flavor. Now, if I'm going to have a tea when I go someplace, I like trying chai teas because everybody's chai tea is a little bit different. And sometimes it's going to be spectacular. Sometimes not so much. But, you're going to different places. And so, but a chai tea is an excellent choice too. Doug says Shelly grows chamomile and harvests it for tea. And she had a huge harvest. I remember watching one of her videos when she was harvesting chamomile. It was just a humongous plant. So I hope she dried lots and lots of it so you have it for a long time. But chamomile is a beautiful flower too. It's very delicate. It's very light. I like how it sways in the wind, and the bees like it. Hops is really an interesting plant. Over at the community garden, and it grows on the fence, and people don't do anything with it. It just grows, and so I've harvested it and I dehydrated it, and then I vacuum sealed it and I froze it so that I can use it, because you can make a fabulous brownie with hops. And I took it to the community garden dinner one time, and people could not believe it had hops in it. And it was just so delicious. Chamomile is truly soothing before bedtime. Totally agree. Nice to know the fall chamomile can be used. I love chai as well. Yes, chai can be just such a great tea. Now, when I was young, my grandmother, Todd, he's leaving us. He's probably at work. Todd, thanks so much. My grandma made this thing that was called Russian tea. Though I don't know why. I'm sure it wasn't from Russia. It used tang in there. And from Little Frenchie in Big Texas, that's Jake's wife. She's in. Hello. So it had Lipton tea, instant, tang, and these different spices. And we loved it when we were little. And my grandmother called it Russian tea. And one day when I was older, I said to my mom, this can't be from Russia. This has tang in it. So I did some research. And there are really old versions that it used orange peel or zest from oranges. And so it was from Russia, but not when it had the tang in it and instant tea from Lipton's. But it was still really good when we were growing up. And I think I just loved tea since I was little. Doug likes Milo sweet tea. I don't know what that is. And maybe that's just something that comes in bottle. I don't know. I don't know what Milo's is. So you're going to have to tell me about that, Doug. Yep. Tang Lipton instant tea. It had sugar, Yeah. And my grandma had some other spices in it, and it was good, but it certainly wasn't a Russian version of a tea. Sky's the limit as chai, as an individual, as each of us. I totally agree, because if you look online, there are hundreds and hundreds of different chai tea recipes. And I love chai tea. And I've made a couple different ones, and but I don't think any of my homemade ones have been as good as some of them I've had at a restaurant. So if somebody has a really good chai tea, if you would send it to me, I would just so like that. And Shelly says she loves cinnamon tea. I like cinnamon tea too, because I love cinnamon. And Yvonne says that Milo's in the gallon. Oh, so it is just like a something you buy at the store. We just don't have that here. And that's funny how different parts of the country have different companies that sell stuff. Because we have different kinds of tea that you can buy in a gallon at the grocery store. I don't like any of them. But I don't know about Milo's, Doug. It could be. And Doug says that it's a Southern thing. Can get it in gallon jars. So it must be pretty good. Doug's tried Tai Chi before. Is that how you say that? Tai Chi? And Anne says, I love tea. Don't drink coffee, but lots of tea. Earl Grey is in the morning, but I have tons of different ones, mostly French in bulk, because she is French. And I don't drink coffee either. Joe's the coffee drinker in our house. And so I can make coffee, but I don't drink coffee. And I've tried to like coffee. And I've tried it. People say, well, try it this way or try it this way. It still tastes like coffee. I don't like it. But those are just choices. And I've always thought that teas were so good for you, especially when you start mixing different herbs together. Now, side note, you always have to know if you're allergic to something. And you don't want to take anything that maybe you're allergic to something, but that plant is in the same family. Just be very careful before you take it. And maybe even talk to your doctor. Say, hey, I'm allergic to this. I'd like to have some tea that has this item in it, but it is in the same family. Should I be worried about that? Because you want to be safe. See, I knew this is why Doug was my brother, because he doesn't like coffee either. That's right, Doug. And Doug at His Way Homestead, if you haven't been to his channel before, on Friday nights, they have this Freaky Friday eating thing. And there's usually at least 3 channels on there on Friday nights. And they have this wheel that they spin the week before. And they try some of the craziest, weirdest food. Like one time they're eating, I think it was peanut butter and onion sandwiches. And all these weird things. And pickles with different things. And it's really interesting. And so you should check out Freaky Friday food at His Way Homestead. Hi, Holly. How are you? I love herbal iced teas. Oh, so agree. So agree. And a lot of times I'll just make sun tea. And whatever fruit is in the yard right then, maybe it's raspberries, maybe it's gooseberries or currants or whatever, I like to add as it steeps, and then I'll strain them off, or I'll strain it off and add more new plants or new berries in there. And then ice it. Oh, so amazing. And Doug, tell me about this. Sriracha brownies. Tell me, can you send me that recipe? Interesting. Very interesting. Holly, and it must be Holly Hobbies, so you probably have a channel. Is this the first time that you have been in one of my lives? If it is, welcome. Sometimes people are in lives and they don't ever comment. You know, you can see that there's, 20 people, 50 people, 100 people in your live, but they don't comment. So you don't actually know everybody that's actually on there. And Holly says, oop, wrong one. Sorry. It is, ma'am. Thank you. Look at her icon. It's hollyhocks. Oh, I love hollyhocks. Yeah, I have some flowering right now in my gardens. I love hollyhocks. So amazing. And I just love it when people are chatting back and forth. They see friends in the chat box. Yvonne loves hibiscus tea iced or hot year round. I love that too. And that was one of the reasons I put that in my morning tea. I didn't used to have hibiscus in there. And it was just like, I love hibiscus flowers. And it makes such a beautiful color. So I totally agree. Well, and look who's here. Nancy at our treasured home. How are you, Nancy? I'm totally behind watching your videos, but I will catch up. I have more company coming today. As you know, if you've watched some of my videos, we've had family that went to Rapid, so we had to go to Rapid over and over all summer long. More company than I usually see during the summertime. And today, one of our boys, Jason, and his wife, Jamie, are coming from Colorado. They live in the mountains above Boulder. And so they're coming for the weekend. I'm just so excited. Now, one of the other things of the teas that I make that I was going to talk about is Essiac tea. And Essiac tea is a tea that's famous as a cancer tea. It has a great story about a nurse in Canada. And there was a woman in there that had breast cancer, but was healed from breast cancer. She didn't have surgery from breast cancer. And a Native American from Canada had done this recipe, and it had 8 herbs that were from Canada. And she went on to have clinics and everything that all kinds of people got healed from cancer from this Essiac tea. Well, I wanted to make my own Essiac tea. I didn't have, not for cancer, but I just wanted to make it. And I wanted to try it because I don't make any teas and don't try it myself. I would never give it to somebody without drinking a lot of it, Anyway, so I went to look for Essiac tea, which was hard to find. Well, I shouldn't say hard to find. It was hard to find. Oh, how do you spell the Essiac? I'm going to put it in the chat. E-S-S-A-I-C. There you go, Yvonne. It's Essiac tea. And it's actually the nurse's name backwards. And what I could find online were things that were called Essiac tea, but they only had 4 herbs in them. Well, at first doctors liked this idea that she had these clinics because they were sending her people that they couldn't fix. They couldn't cure them from their cancer. And then they got jealous. And so she literally had to go in front of what would be our Congress. But in Canada, I'm not really sure what they call that. And she would not give them all 8 herbs. She wouldn't tell them what they were. And so I went searching, and then I finally found several people that said that they had the original recipe and they had 8 herbs. But when I did research, those herbs, some of them didn't grow in Canada. So I knew that they weren't correct. And then I found a lady in England, and she had 8 herbs. She had all herbs that could live and survive in that area of Canada where they made Essiac tea from. And so that's the recipe I used. But then I added licorice root because in Chinese medicine, they believe licorice root enhances all of the different herbs. And so I've given it to people. I always tell them, I give them a list of everything. I said, you do not take this until you take it to your doctor and he says it's okay. But I've had people that have taken it and it has helped them. And I'm just a true believer in herbs. I just really think it's interesting. Biblically, God said that he gave all the herbs for healing. So that shows me that there are things in herbs that are good for healing. Mary's asking, can I please send this list? Of course I can. Yeah. I'll send you the whole recipe. Yeah. Yeah. And you can use it, you can tweak it, you can do whatever you want with it. Just make sure that none of those herbs are things that you're allergic to. You just don't want to do anything. Yvonne, if you will just send me an email, I will type it in and I'll give you the whole list of all the herbs that are on there. Because some of them you use more and some of them you use less. So anybody, if you just, in fact, here I will put, let me do my, okay, see my email's coming across. Oh, it's got my Etsy store too, but my email, just a second, will come back again. And just send me an email. And my email is always in my about section, and it's always in the videos. If you scroll down in the description, it always has my email. So if you want that, just send me an email and I will send that whole recipe to you. But I bet you I searched easily close to a year. And I would find a recipe and then I would look and it would be like, that plant doesn't grow there in Canada. That's not true. And Angie says, have a fabulous day. Talk to you later. Bye, Ange. I hope you and Aaron have a great weekend. But everybody that, Anne, just send me an email and I will do that. And I'll get it out this weekend to everybody that send it to me. Cindy, more than happy. Just send me an email and I will send that to you. And Cindy, is this the first time you've been in one of my lives or made a comment in one of my lives? But what's my favorite teas? Peppermint and raspberry, chai tea, my morning tea. And I just shake it up because things will settle. And some things are finer than other ones. So I shake it up before I use it each morning. And it's a great tea. Totally a great tea. Oh, thank you, Doug. He's given me the recipe for the brownies. I will go in. I will copy and paste that. Thank you so much for that. But as everybody knows, I don't like my lives more than about a half hour. I just thought we would talk about teas, things you grow. And most plants that you grow teas from are perennials. And so I think that that's just really interesting that once it's established, that plant is going to be there for you for years and years and years. And the plant gets better through the years. What? Tim, how are you? That's so kind of you. If you don't know Tim from Ridge Life, he is a great friend. And we have been friends on YouTube for a long, long time. And that is just so kind of you. I just so appreciate it. If you haven't gone over to Tim at Ridge Life, please make sure that you do that, along with everybody else that has popped in. Anne is, I've only been a subscriber of Anne's for, I don't know, a few months or a month, or I'm not sure, Anne, how long it's been now. The summer's gone. It's crazy. But she is probably one of the sweetest, kindest ladies on YouTube, and great channel, and just so kind and loving, and so many great channels. What? You boys, I love you. Want to know what my stuff on my lives are going to? You know, $5, $9.99, that kind of stuff. I am going to buy a GoPro because I would like one. And there's a lot of times when I'm doing videos that I would like to have this other angle. And I just thought if I had a GoPro too, besides using my phone, I could just do a lot more things, and it would be lots faster, because a lot of times you'd shoot and you do one angle and you shoot and you do another angle and you put it together. And so I don't know how many of you guys have GoPros, but if you do, you should let in the chat tell me which ones you think are a great one, because I really am interested in getting one. And Doug, thank you so much for the $9.99. You're just fabulous. And Miss Molly is here. I can't believe summer is almost over. Isn't it crazy fast how it's been? But what? Stop it. Stop that. Tim, I don't even know what to say, Tim. That is beyond. Thank you. Thanks. You touched my heart there, Tim. Thank you. I told you he was great. That's just, wow. Wow. Just checking out for the first time, enjoying your content, looking for the link for your Etsy store or Etsy shop. Where can I find it? It's actually going right across the bottom right now. And it's just fused glass artwork is what it's called. And I have different fused glass things, and I have some of my pumpkins, which aren't glass, but they're still on there. And you're right, Tim wins. And lots of people popping in. Olives, peppers. That sounds interesting. Do you have a YouTube channel? I'm going to have to check that out. Yeah, Tim he's so kind. See, Tim, everybody loves you. Totally. Everybody loves Tim. He does so many things for new channels. On Tuesday nights, he does this Watch and Grow, and he does clips from channels. So if you want to be featured on his channel on that night's program, you go in early, I think 6 o'clock, and it starts at 7 o'clock, my time. I'm not really sure what that is on Tim's time. And you go in, and he puts you all up. He gets all organized. And then when the live starts, he pops people in and out. And that is just excellent. Okay, Holly's asking, when helping start a tea garden, what are your top 10 plants I would suggest? I think I would suggest raspberry, peppermint, lemon balm. I grow my own stevia. Some summers it works and some summers it doesn't work. Where I live, it's not a perennial. So that would be good. I grow my own roses, and so I can have rose petals and I can have rose hips. And certain roses are better than other roses, but I just really use my wild roses. I'm sure that there are ones that are much better than that. I have elderberry bushes, and because I want the elderberries. I have, I think some of it would depend on what you like. Chamomile. For sure, I would do the calendula, because calendula is a really great flower, but in an herbal tea, it has a lot of healing properties. And so it really depends on if you want just to drink it, or if you want it to have more medical benefits. because maybe you're growing burdock and sheep sorrel and different things like that. So that's a hard one to pick, just because there's just so many likes and dislikes. And what are you going to use the tea herbs? Is it just to drink? You want it to to use medically. So that's hard to say. Oh, wrong one. She has a YouTube channel. Okay, I am looking that up and I will check it out. Because I love new channels. Love new channels. In fact, I featured a channel on my community tab the other day. It's from Australia. And it's called Suburban Homestead Experiments. Oh my gosh. Look on my my community tab and check him out. So interesting. He doesn't have very many videos, but every single one of them is good. So I will check that channel out. And thank you. I was glad to catch up on your live. I must head out. Have a great day. I'm taking my father-in-law to pick up his new puppy. Oh, so fun. We have 2 dogs and they're old. In fact, Max and Reagan just had their birthdays. Max had this month, the month before Reagan had it. And now I think they're 11 and 13, or are they 12 and 14? Drats. I'm going to have to look that up. But just they're good companions for people. And there's a lot of, especially older people, that a dog can be really a great companion. So that is nice that you're going to pick up that puppy dog. And I love it when people are helping their elderly moms and dads, aunts and uncles, elderly neighbors, because all of us become old someday. Now, do I need somebody to help me now? Not usually, though sometimes I wish my grandsons would drive on over and help me dig things. But I was just reading how a lot of times older people just want you to spend time with them. And I think that's true, because this last year, when it was our first time being down in Arizona all winter long, it was really interesting to get to know my parents. And you might think that's a funny statement, but when you live right next to them, it's a whole different thing than, because when they're here for the summertime, they're in South Dakota and I'm in Wyoming, and we go over and see them a lot. But you're there for 2 hours or 4 hours. But when you see somebody every single day, you get to know them more than you ever did before. And I think I know my parents more now than I did my whole life. And you see things and you hear things and you understand things. And so when anybody says that, oh, I'm going to go help my dad and I'm going to go help my mom, I just think it's fabulous. Totally fabulous. And Holly says, people change so much when they are alone. And I think that's true, And I think there's a lot in our society right now. We're busy. And I'm busy. We're way too busy. And, it's easy to say, oh, I'll go see my mom, or I'll call my dad tomorrow, or we live in totally different parts of the country. It's difficult. And I think the older you get, the more you miss your children. And I don't think children mean to not call or stop by. They just get busy. Doug, thank you so much for putting that in the chat. My Etsy store. And you'll see Nightbot is posting different links to channels. And these are all people that are my members. And so I just appreciate them. And it means a lot to me. And Molly says, you are lucky to have yours. I was only 47 when my mom left this earth and my dad just 5 months ago. Yeah, I am totally grateful that, and so many of my friends don't have either their parents either. And it's hard for them, you know. I don't think it ever gets easy not having your parents. But it is a total blessing that, because my dad is 90 years old and my mom is 84 now. And like Doug says, he calls his mom every day on his way to work. And Doug's father passed away not that long ago. And he used to talk to his dad every day. And so it's a tough thing. And I admire people that every single day they call their mom. That is a good heart, Doug. And I bet you your mom just so appreciates it. And yeah, Doug lost his dad April 1st. I knew it wasn't that, it was a few months ago. And I remember that time. And that was a tough time for Doug and Shelly and their whole family. And Molly says, my dad was 88, but my mom was only 77. And, 88 is a good life. But I tell my dad, he's 90. And he told me when he was turning 90, just before he turned 90, he says, I'm in the last decade of my life. And I said, Dad, you could live 20 years. I mean, he doesn't have any health problems, really. And he gardens and he does all kinds of stuff. He's always piddling, doing something. And they travel back and forth. We have convinced them that they shouldn't ever drive to Arizona each year or back. So now they fly. But, with all the medical advances, he could easily live 20 more years. People on his side of the family lived a long time. And so I think it's interesting. And Holly says, oh, wrong one. The chat moved too fast. This is like a friendly tea chat, like chatting with friends. That's what I think live should be, like this. I so wish that it was more like Zoom. And you could literally talk to people, You can read the chat and people chat back and forth, But if it was more like Zoom and all kinds of people could just pop in all the time. And I think there's a way, Doug can probably tell me how to do this, because I know how to do it beforehand that multiple people will be on, but I don't know how to do it when it's just happening. But I'm sure there's a way to do it. I'm going to have to talk to Doug about that. But it is just like a friendly chat. See, Molly says, my grandmother died last year at 102. That is a good life, 102 years old. I just started growing calendula. Really know very little about it presently. When do you pick the flowers to use it? As it first blooms? Marianne, I actually wait till it starts to die back. And because I'm going to dry them anyway. See how they're dried in that jar? And I want the entire flower. I want the petals on there. I don't know if you can see that in there, but there's actually some stems in there too. I want the whole thing. Now, sometimes when I put that in a tea, I grind it up in my Vitamix, depending on what I'm doing. And sometimes I just leave the whole flower. It just depends on what I'm doing with it. But medically speaking, calendulas have just a huge amount of medical properties. Okay, let's see what Tim says. You can click the invite button and copy the link and paste it in the chat and pin it to the top, or you can have Nightbot repost it. Up to 6 people can go. Oh, well, Tim, I'm going to do that with my next live next Friday. See, he's a whiz at stuff. Totally fun. So, and then I can just copy and link the thing and the link, paste it. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Tim, for that. Thank you. Oh, and look who's here, Nona Grace. Just noticed you were live, as was on AARP live chat. Ah, well, see, I didn't even know they have live chats for AARP. See, Nona Grace and we're older. That is awesome. Doug says he's got to run, and I got to run too, because I usually only am on for a half hour because I know some people are so busy. Next week is my live before we go to Arizona, because October 1st, I won't have a live. I don't think. Maybe I will. I don't think so. Because we'll be packing and everything, because we're leaving that weekend. And so, but I am going to do what Tim says, and I will have a post in the chat. So if you would like to come on, and I'm actually talking about what I do to get ready to move to Arizona for the wintertime. And I think that you might find it interesting on what I can and can't take, what my thinking, because we only have X amount of space in the truck. And Joe doesn't want to ever pull a trailer. And so it's a whole different way of thinking on what you have to take, what you can buy down there, all the different things like that. So everybody, I hope you have a great night. Tim, you are so kind. Thank you so much for that. And Doug, thank you so much. You guys are just the bomb, I tell you. Everyone, I just can't even tell you how fabulous being on YouTube has been for us. And I hope everyone has a blessed weekend, that they have their dreams come true. And Nona says, I wish we could go where it's warmer in the winter too. I will try to make that live. Good, Nona, because that would be a good discussion. Because I have done videos on, because people think if you go and live in two places, you have to be rich. It's not true. You have to be wise, but you don't have to be rich. And I will just show you some of the things that we do and how we make it work. So everybody, thank you so much. Make sure you send me an email if you want the list on that Essiac tea and my recipe, and I will send it to you. And I will see you next time. Tim, thanks again. Doug, thanks again.